Hi. Okay, so this is the weekly VOLTHA TST meeting, and we are recording it for posterity. Let's see. So I do have quite a few updates for some of the problems that have been going on for the Jenkins builds, like the cluster, the community pod build failures that were going on, but I'll wait and do that toward the end to so we can get through a little bit more of the VOLTHA agenda items. So we can just dive right into it. So there was an open ticket that Holger had for the Open ONU adapter that has been reviewed. He did submit a patch and it was merged. For some reason, the Jenkins job that ran after the code was merged failed. There was something strange with the tagging, trying to attach tags to the changes he was putting in. The problem is repeatable, but I don't know what's causing that yet, so I'll have to dig into that one.
Joey, does it have any repercussions or bad influence on the workflow?
The only thing, the code is actually merged in. You can check it out. The only thing I suspect is we may be missing like an artifact. If a Docker image would have been built or some artifact on another server, we may be missing that, but the code itself is not lost.
Because I have seen that the master tag is correctly set to the latest version. So actually, it should be guaranteed that the latest code will be used for master builds, right?
Correct. Yes. Yeah, that was kind of strange because Holger added 1.14.0. I modified it again after the fact and bumped the version to 1.14.1. The tags are in, but well, I can show you what the failure is. Yeah, something's coming back with, where was it? Tag name 114 was in there, and it's just this could be a scripting problem too. I just haven't dug into it yet, but something is missing, and that prevented whatever final steps need to be done for the code to post merge for the commit to be properly decorated. But right now there doesn't seem to be any adverse side effects aside from the failure that was reported. But go ahead and look into that. Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay, good. So Bill Bash, let me see. Mahir was speaking with him or her about an OMC timeout behavior. If you'd like to jump in on the pull request and the item, feel free.
Actually, it is a discussion between Abhilash and Holger on Slack.
Okay.
So I put it here to discuss it here in TSD. I don't know if they agreed on this discussion or not.
Actually not. I think we have to discuss this. Okay, I can shortly explain what is the problem. It seems so that Abhilash have done some tests to disconnect the OLT, the physical OLT from the VOLTHA stack for a longer time, greater than 10 seconds, and then plugged it again. And the problem is that the OpenONU adapter in the meantime tries to communicate with all its ONUs connected, and the OMCI connection fails for 3 times within 9 seconds, and that's why we are stopping the OMC channel and sending a Kafka message that we are not reaching the ONU anymore. And this had to be introduced because we had the problem that when the OMC communication was not possible anymore, and we continuously and endlessly tried OMCI communication, they run into a crash of the adapter at some time. And actually, the real problem is that this connection or disconnecting the OLT from the VOLTHA pod does not result in any message towards the OpenONU adapter. So that means the OpenONU adapter do not know that the complete communication is disturbed. He thinks or he assumes that only a particular ONU is not able to connect or not to communicate anymore. And but this is related to all the ONUs of this OLT. So we will get into the problem that all the ONUs get into stopping AMSI mode. And actually, the assumption was that when we do not reach the OLTs, the OLT and consequently the ONU anymore, that we will be informed, for example, by the core or by the OLT adapter that ONUs are gone, and also will be informed when the connection is re-established again that the ONUs are available again. But there's no message at all. So there's a problem. The OpenONU adapter can't decide what, or do not know what's happening with the OLT, and this is causing now problems. Actually, ignoring this is a disconnection and doing nothing in the ONU adapter is actually, I think, also not a possibility, because it could be that in the time of absence of the OLT, ONUs will vanish for forever. So and when we do not recognize this and do not do anything for particular ONUs, if we do not reach them anymore and poll again, then we will run into a scenario where we have orphaned ONUs which will never come back, but we poll them endlessly and forever. So actually, the current status, I think, is not possible to keep. That we will not be informed about the outage of the OLT. I don't know what if there are any ideas or how should we proceed with this issue.
Okay, Abhilash, can you also summarize us the behavior on the OLT adapter? What is it? It's a temporary connection, disconnection, or a disconnection that should be informed to ONU adapter, etc.
Yeah, when we had done this OLT reconnect changes, right? I remember some 4 or 5 months ago. So what we considered is, like, when the OLT adapter is disconnected, the OLT's state will be updated to core, and we don't know what happened to the ONUs. They could be connected or they could have gone down. That's true. But ONU adapter doesn't know about it. So what we thought, or what we had decided, is whatever OMCI is it's trying, so it will keep on erroring out. Okay. So once the OLT is back up, if an ONU is disconnected, so there will be an down indication for that, because it will eventually be queued in the OLT. So either way, the OLT has to send if an ONU has gone down. So if it's down, once the OLT is reconnected back to the adapter, the ONU down indication will come and it will be sent to the ONU adapter. By then, ONU adapter will come to know if this guy is disconnected. So then there will be no stale entries in the ONU adapter, which will be polling again and again. But with this patch, what's happening is, once it's disconnected, The ONU adapter, once it sees the OMCIs are failing, it moves the state back to stopping, and it clears all the states and flows and all. So now, once the OLT is back connected, it could be that the ONU is still running and it up and running, the traffic is running. But now the ONU adapter doesn't know about it because there is no indication. Of course, there will be no indication because it was never down. So ONU adapter will not be able to recover it, and the state will be lingering around the same.
So, Abhilash, do you say, I mean, in the long disconnection case, I mean, the heartbeats failing OLT adapter, we still don't inform the ONU adapter, only inform the core about the disconnection of OLT?
Yes. Yes, only the core knows about this. ONU adapter as of now is not aware of the device state.
Okay.
So one question to Holger probably. So here, see, any OMC is like, if any flows also are provisioned when the OLT is disconnected, so they obviously will error out, and there will be an error message sent back to the core on the flows. So I believe this is only with the PM and the alarms. Am I wrong? Because they keep on adding it to the queue, I guess. And
yeah, this crash problem we saw was related to the PM, because PM is trying to retrieve via OpenCI the counters periodically and does not stop in any case, and that's why we had this problem. And okay, when we are in the middle of the flow configuration, then we I think we will run into an error and send it back, but then also the state is undefined, and we had to start from scratch, I think. So actually, yeah, actually the ONU adapter has to know something about if this is only a particular problem of an ONU, or is it a general problem, or what is your your opinion, Abhilash?
See, even though if it's a generic problem, what we were considering is any calls, they'll error out. Eventually, they keep on retrying until the OLT is connected back. And that also happens same with the open OLT adapter. But also we can have a check. This is of course suggestions. Feel free to pitch in your thoughts. Like, we can also have an ONU adapter the check, like whenever an OLT goes down, the OLT adapter can inform ONU adapter. So ONU adapter will maintain the state of the OLT, and then if it's unreachable, just skip the OMCIs, because there is no point, because we know it'll error out.
The problem is we had to go through all the workflows, the OpenCI configurations, if they are a timeout proof, or what in which state they should end up. For example, should the PM retrieval be stopped at all, or how should it be dealt with?
This problem will come during the PM, I guess. So
yeah.
Anyway, if we just don't do anything, again the PM will kick in, right, after some time.
Yeah.
So again, so let it happen anyway, it'll error out. So as and when it's connected, we'll come to know about the state, and it will go through.
The problem is, the problem we saw was that when we let the PM continuously sending OpenCI messages, then we ran into a state. I think probably when the pod will be cleaned up or so, that we are accessing on data which are no longer available, and the OpenONU adapter crashed. So actually, I think when we know about that OMCI sending is not possible currently, then we have to stop it, I think. But and probably we need then again an information that the OLT is back again, and then to resume to send, right? Something like this.
Yes, another option would be like if it's not reachable for the PMs, especially if it's not reachable, just skip the sending of the OMCI part. Just don't do anything, because either way it'll error out. So when the connection is up, the state will change, and the next PM loop, it will go through fine.
The problem is, how can ONU adapter detect that the connection is back again?
Yeah, that OLT adapter can inform ONU adapter about this.
What is the information sent to core about OLT disconnection during these heartbeat failures?
The state of the OLT will be changed to unreachable.
Okay. Then do you know if, core does anything in this case?
No, it doesn't do anything until and unless it's back reachable again, because it all depends whether it's rebooted or not. So core doesn't do anything if it just goes to unreachable and also back to reachable. Without reboot, it doesn't do anything.
Okay, when we focus on the PM problem and we would have this information, then I think it's possible to cope with this. That before when the PM comes back periodically, the PM retrieval of the OMCI data, then it first checks the status of the OLT, and when it's not reachable, then it skips, and then it comes back later, 30 seconds later, and check again. And when we receive the information that the OLT is back again, then it comes into work again, right? Something like this.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Don't we get an error when we send a message to the broken OLT or unconnected OLT?
Yes,
I couldn't get the problem.
Yes, that was a problem when we will send a OMC request, and we expect an answer, which we do not get. Then we will retry to send it, and it will be done 3 times in a period of 3 seconds currently. And if we do not get an answer for 3 times, as we retried 3 times, then we will go to stopping OMSing for the ONU and send a Kafka event that the OMCI channel of the ONU is disturbed.
But you get actually an answer that is an error message that you cannot reach the OLT.
No. I don't get any. I don't get any error message. It will be sent to the core, and we are waiting for the answer, and the answer does not come.
It's timeout.
So I see. So I remember a mechanism in the OLT adapter that, for example, when a flow add operation comes to OLT adapter says the OLT is not connected, so sends an error message to the requester. So I think the same thing can be applied for the OMCI messages or all ONU messages coming from the ONU adapter, OMCI messages coming from the ONU adapter. I don't think we should propagate the OLT reachable, unreachable status to the ONU adapter.
I agree with that, because the problem is not only in the case of the OLT disconnection, I guess. In case, Holger, you cannot get a OMCI response in the ONU, either the OLT is connected, think that ONU is in a bad state and cannot answer your OMCI messages, again, you will face with this problem. Okay, so in any case, if you detected that the OMCI channel somehow, it may be because of the OLT disconnection or ONU itself, if the OMCI channel somehow, I mean, corrupted and you cannot get the response, you can take an action about this in ONU adapter.
But I
And
think
you're
I have
taking-
to I have to distinguish the two cases because when a particular ONU is out of order, then it makes sense to set it to stopping OMSI and to send a Kafka event to the core that the ONU is not longer available.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we would not detect this. But if we have a general problem with the OLT, then there's a different case. Then it could be that the ONUs are still alive and kicking, but the way to the ONUs over the OLT is disturbed.
Okay, but I'm not if they're two different, because in any case the ONU is unreachable for you for ONU adapter, and you cannot send anything on any OMSI message, even the PM or flow configuration, etc. It's unreachable there. So what I'm trying to say, if you in this case you need to, as ONU adapter, you need to detect that the OMCI messages are not answered and the ONU is unreachable, on OMCI channel, you may take some action. But in this case, because OLT adapter is not involved in this decision, you have to take the contra decision also. If you decide that OMSI, I mean, in your patch, you decide that the OMSI channel is corrupted, so you take some action to, reset some final state machines, etc. As far as I see. But after you did that, you have to check the OMSI channel if it comes back or not, because, I mean, it's not OLT adapter informed you. You cannot expect OLT adapter to inform you about the, channel. Say in case the channel is healthy or not.
But
So,
that we are running into this problem, we had a crash of the ONU adapter. That if you endlessly trying to unsuccessfully trying to send this OMSI message, then we run into a problem if you access to resources which are probably not longer available. So actually, I don't think that sending the OMCI message continuously is the right tool to check if the ONU comes back or not.
Yeah, because on a larger scale, there could be a lot of errors popping up in ONU adapter, if that's the case. So,
I mean, yeah, it's I get this, it is, but I mean, in case of you get, I mean, some kind of they shut yourself, take, I don't know, set a flag to OMSI channel, close and do not send these OMSI messages. Do not, I mean, put them on OMSI channel and return back to the PM manager or what it is that it is, I mean, failed. So after a while, you can try one of these messages and see if channel come back or not.
Actually,
is that possible?
I think not, because it could be that the resources are not longer available, and that was a problem because we introduced this this check. You see this here, this Garrett here we have shared here. That was a panic during scale test, where we endlessly tried unsuccessfully to send OMSI messages. I think we need. I think we need in this case we need the external trigger that the system is available again.
Sorry, am I audible?
Sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we can
this
hear
is
you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just a thought on this, right? So the connect status of the ONU should first of all go to unreachable, right? So either this could be done by the ONU adapter itself, like the 3 misses that it has right now of not receiving MCI, right? And then it goes to unreachable state, or it could even be done by the vCore, right? Because when the OLT is disconnected, there is no way that the ONUs can be in reachable state, right? And that could be a trigger for the ONU adapter to stop sending OMCI because it's unreachable.
And that is exactly what is the current situation. When
Right.
we tries 3 times to send the OMCI message, and when it's not possible,
Yeah.
then I'm sending a Kafka event that OMC channel is disturbed, and then I simulate ONU down indication. I make the same thing I am doing during with ONU down indication, and set the ONU on unreachable, and also going to state stopping OMC, which actually also includes that flows and tag profiles are deleted of this ONU.
But
So
we don't need to delete anything, right? We can just set the state to unreachable.
okay, and how do we get out of this state?
Yeah, so once the core comes to know again that the OLT is reachable, right? The connect state goes from unreachable to reachable. It can ask for all the ONUs of that OLT to be reconciled.
You mean reconcile, not because that would be
Yeah, because there is a mismatch, right? Because we don't know what's happening on the ONU, for how long it was disconnected, right? And we have some state in the ONU adapter. So a reconciliation is needed, right?
okay. Not you mean not starting from, because currently the reconciling. You mean do not start from the scratch. It means with adopt device and ONU up indication and MIP upload and so on, but to run a reconcile process, right?
Yes. And then if the reconcile works fine, then everything should just fall in place.
But then probably the we have to see if it works, and we have to. It would be good to receive reconcile RPC from the core for all the ONUs, right?
Yes. So as in logically, the core should do that, right? Because if the OLT's connect state changes, then we don't know for how long it was disconnected, right? And definitely the devices need to be reconciled.
Yeah, that's another option. But I mean, what will happen is, suppose now OLT is back up, but the few ONUs, they were plugged out and it's down. So the reconcile will be happening, and along with that, the ONU down also will be being processed by the ONU adapter.
But then we also produce often ONUs in the OLT adapter in the ONU adapter, or how should they be deleted if they are disconnected during the absence of the OLT?
Sorry, Olga, I didn't get.
Could we run into the case that we then have ONUs in our administration in the ONU adapter, which were disconnected permanently during the absence of the OLT? It could also be, right? Then we would have orphaned data in our database, because the database is built up in the based on the device ID, and when even if an ONU comes back again, a new makes a fresh start, then it gets a new device ID, and the old device ID will never be deleted, I think.
If it gets a new device, it will get only a new device ID if the older one is deleted. But once it's not reachable, if the ONU is plugged out, and the reconcile will anyway fail, but the device will still remain in both OLT adapter core and ONU adapter. So
Yeah.
once it comes back, it'll retain the same device ID. So
Yeah, only up in the delete, the device ID is changed.
yeah.
But what the delete devices? Okay, when it's done by the network element manager, then we should be informed about it, right? Because the core is still intact and working.
So yeah, so I think this is one of the possible directions in which we could think, right? But also the other one that was being discussed of the ONU adapter continuously trying, right? So I think that is also a direction in which we should think, right? Because if once the state becomes unreachable, right, it could do a exponential backoff and then retry only at periodic intervals, right? It doesn't have to retry at the PM collection interval. It could try it less frequently, right? So that when the connection is restored, it just works.
Yeah, we still have this issue that if we continuously try to send it, then we could run into a panic, as we
So
we've
yeah,
done
Holger,
here.
so that is something which is it a bug or is that as per the design?
Actually,
I think so. The queues are getting filled up, correct?
probably, yeah.
Yeah, because of the retries, the queues are getting filled up. But still, I think so. We are seeing this. If we are seeing, then we should be seeing this only on a scale setup.
Mm-hmm. I can also remove this patch again, and then we have to investigate further this panic. Then it would be as before, that we at least the PM is continuously trying to access again. But then we probably have this problem again here.
Yeah, so what I'm not getting there is that, say we try a PM, right, getting the PM matrix and it fails. Why does it build up? Because it has failed and that's it, right? So that transaction is of no meaning anymore.
Yeah, I'm wondering the same thing.
Why should there be a build up?
Yeah, we have to investigate this issue more deeply here. Why this panic occurred?
Yeah.
The panic occurred because when there's a go routine which will be called every 30 seconds or so from PM, and this will send out PM retrieval OMCI messages. And at some certain point within the test case, it's accessing resources which are not longer available. And this, okay, this is it has to be investigated if this is a real customer scenario, if this could be possible. Probably if the device is then deleted and I know that if it is deleted, then also the PM is stopped.
So a more philosophical question on this. So is there any other messaging that is happening between or OMCI that is happening periodically except for the PM?
Could you repeat, please?
Is there any other OMCI that is happening periodically except for the PM metrics thing?
I think also the audit, the alarm table retrieval.
Yeah, but that is much less frequent, right?
Yeah. And okay, it could also be that okay, during the disconnection of the OT, then if the flow creation is running, okay, then it runs into an error.
Yeah, the reason why I'm asking that is that to salvage the situation, if we are saying that, okay, when we do the next PM query, we will come to know if the ONU has come back up or not, and which indirectly means that enabling PM is a mandatory feature, right? Some operator might say that I'm not interested in the PMs of the ONUs, but he or she can't turn off PM because in that case, this kind of situations can't be handled. So should we look for a different solution?
You mean that we that PM will be disabled if we recognize?
Yeah, if some operator wants to say disable PM if they're not interested in the PM metrics from the ONU.
Okay, you don't mean that it should be done in an error situation, but general. It depends by the operator if he wants this PM or not.
Yes. So what I'm trying to say is that we have a problem where the ONU is not reachable, right? And to solve that problem, we are taking the help of PM feature, right? Because the PM is getting done periodically, and using that, we can figure out, okay, if the ONU is reachable again or not. Is that the right way to go? Because PM is a completely separate feature, right?
Actually, if we try to retrieve the PM data anyway, then actually and we can live with permanently failing OMSI requests, then we can do nothing. Then we can simply let it run, and sometimes it will be recovered. But then we have to investigate if we can run into scenarios where we have a problem with the piled up OMSI requests.
Yeah.
I also don't get while those requests are piled up. That is another problem, and that is probably the reason why you are getting a panic during the PM collection. So at least what we can do in the OpenOLT adapter, that we can send a error, return back an error if the OLT is not connected. And as I said, I remember there must be a mechanism in the OpenOLT adapter for the request coming from the RV core, like flow add or flow remove. So if there is no OLT, it is not connected, then we shouldn't wait for the timeout. We should return a response immediately to the ONU adapter. That would probably solve your case. If also that doesn't solve your problem, then we look at the OpenONU adapter. What is the reason that leads us to this panic?
Yes, I totally agree with that. I mean, we should take some action in ONU adapter to avoid this piling, you know.
Or accessing two resources which are no longer available. Yeah.
Yes, as Serkan said, sending back an error message from OLT adapter so that ONU adapter would not expect the message and would not wait the timeout is another improvement. So we can do that. It's a good solution for that. But anyway, it would be better to take some action in ONU adapter to avoid this piling. You know, if you get this error message from error response from OLT adapter, you can somehow stop PM, or I mean, in a backup, you know, timer manner, you know, not permanently, but you may stop sending something on OMCI channel for a while and then let it go again, you know, with a backup timer. That will be better, I guess.
Sorry, Mahir. So yeah, the optimization that Serkan is talking about of returning an error on the gRPC, definitely we could do that. But I believe that we still need to have the timeouts in the ONU adapter, because what happens if the OpenOLT or the OLT adapter itself is down, right? And say it's got into a crash back loop, right?
Yeah.
So ONU adapter would anyways need to handle the timeouts.
Yeah, of course. It has a
Yeah.
timeout mechanism. We shouldn't remove the timeout mechanism like
Yeah.
that. But in this
Yeah,
case,
that's,
you know,
that's
at
an
least
optimization.
the back off timer and, you know, closing, avoiding to pile up these messages in OMSI channel or its queues, maybe a better solution for that, you know, if this is the problem, you know. And I think it's ONU adapter's responsibility to detect this problem and take some actions instead of going through the OLT adapter or RW core. Because as I said, in case everything is okay and the OLT adapter is okay, so connection is okay, but you cannot get OMSI responses from ONU adapter, you still have this problem. And there is nothing that OLT adapter can do in this case.
No, actually, when ONU adapter is sending an OMCI request and does not get any error upon this sending and does not receive an answer, then it cannot decide if it is related to the ONU or if there's another problem in the system.
Yeah, but at least you can have these mechanisms to avoid sending, you know, piling PM counters towards this ONU again. You will get this panic again if ONU does not respond to your OMSI messages and you try to.
No, actually, I don't get it. What should be the trigger for the ONU adapter not to send OMSI requests anymore?
You have a mechanism that you put in your patch, for example. You detect that OMSI messages are timed out for a long time, consecutively, and you also will get, if we, agree on sending error responses from OLT, the other case will be receiving errors from OLT adapter. So in these two cases, you can decide that there's something wrong in OMSI channel that you cannot reach the ONU.
You mean the send request will be failing? I get an error from the OLT adapter, or?
Yes, you will get some errors to
but not yet. No,
Yeah.
now it is.
Yes. For now, you can. There are two cases that you decide to OMSI channel is corrupted. You cannot send any messages. One is the connection between the OLT adapter and the OLT itself is corrupted. So in this case, we can get some responses from OLT adapter. But currently, we don't have these responses. The second one is the connection between the OLT adapter and OLT is healthy, but there's something with the connection between OLT and ONU or something wrong with ONU. In any case, the gRPC channel between the OLT adapter and OLT is okay, but you don't get OMCI responses. You go to timeout. So in this case, as you coded in your patch, you can detect these timeouts, if they happens consequently, or after retries, you cannot get any response from the OMSI channel. You can decide that this OMSI channel is corrupted. Okay, so you can take some action there. You can put some, take some timeouts, put some backup timeouts, and stop all OMSI messages put on this OMSI channel. After a while, you can try it again if it's okay now or not. So take some action there, But
the problem is if the ONU is out of order, then it should be communicated to the core via Kafka event. And I think it is necessary to stop the OMSI to indicate that there's something wrong with this ONU.
Okay, you can stop it, but you have to check if the channel is back again after a time.
I know that my indication that the ONU comes back would be an ONU up indication.
But OLT adapter or OLT itself didn't send that ONU down to you, so they probably will not send an ONU up again to you.
But then when nobody no operator takes any action, then probably the customer will reset its ONT, and then I will get an ONU up indication, and then the ONU comes back up again.
So, sorry, one question here. So I agree that yes, event on the Kafka bus should be sent out, right? So that other systems are aware of this problem. But why do we need to stop the OMCI? Why can't we just keep on trying it, provided we are able to solve the other issue of the buildup?
Yeah, I think that is not designed as that we continuously trying to. So you mean we should remove all this timeout handling and try again endlessly.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, right? That okay, after 3 tries, if it fails, right? If 3 consecutive tries fails, it generates an event on the Kafka bus saying that okay, the OMCI channel is not good, but it does not stop trying. Whenever the next occurrence happens of doing an OMCI transaction, it just goes and does that. If it fails, it fails, and it keeps on doing that.
Yeah, that was also my idea. Probably we can skip this down handling and keep everything up and running and only set the event. But then if we have to be aware that we will cope with this panic again, and then we have to see what we can do about this.
Yeah, I think this is something that we need to look at, because the other things, what we are seeing now is that the PM is happening every 30 seconds, is what you said, right? But generally in operator networks, I would think that this frequency would be much lesser, right? PM won't be collected every 30 seconds from all the ONUs. So if the PM frequency is typically, I would think 15 minutes, and even the audit interval, if it is say 5 minutes, and if a OLT goes down or the connection goes down and comes back up in say 2 or 3 minutes, right? Ideally, there shouldn't be any change in the system. Everything should just work, right? For most of the ONUs, yes. Some of the ONUs who had their OMCI happening at that period, they would be interrupted. But for the others, they won't even see any change.
Can I jump into this discussion here? Because I'm listening to it without the background of knowing the implementation. But it's a fairly common problem in any telecommunications when 2 devices can't reliably talk to one another. Can we go back and maybe draw up the state diagram to understand where from a protocol perspective we expect both detection of failure and recovery to happen? Because I think that sort of gets to one of the underlying issues. And then it strikes me that the handling of these messages may be getting queued and therefore discarded in an overloaded system. So we may have to look at the underlying message handling mechanisms there in terms of how do we prioritize these types of requests over generic data transfer.
It's more of a question to the core, right, or to the gRPC, or?
Well, we can look at it in both directions, but certainly in terms of determining that a device has failed based on a high load, understanding that set of message sequences and when we determine it has failed, and also how we determine that it has recovered based on messages now being processed or the case, because there's all sorts of corner situations that you guys are starting to discuss here, like, you know, what if it comes back in 2 minutes or 3 minutes or 5? I just think a state transition diagram would facilitate the discussion.
We have this kind of diagrams. Perhaps this, brings up another discussion here. We should somehow make it easily accessible to all of this, discussion documents and design documents we have. We currently have these kinds of diagrams, I think, and also state transition tables and discussions done before. but they are in some documents in Google Docs. So we can put these documents to here, at least about the state diagrams, to here in the meeting agenda. But other than that, we may take some action to make them more visible to everybody. So it's kind of documents that people can reach out and see the previous discussions and designs done. And I agree that this should be, I mean, taught by looking end to end to all the state diagrams and messagings going and coming between the processes.
Okay, for the time being, I would now take away that we keep this Kafka event informing about 3 times unsuccessful communication, but to skip to set the ONU to stopping OMSI, right?
Yeah, I agree on that. But these Kafka events, you know, there are 2 Kafka events there, which confuses me. You know, there is a retry mechanism that retry a single message for a while. I don't know what's it, the retry timeout and the retry count, but say that the retry count is 3, so you retry the same message 3 times, and then an event is sent to Kafka, like OMCI communication failure, something like that. Then you increase a consecutive error counter, then again retry the next message 3 times, then it fails, then you increment the consecutive error. So this makes, you know, if consecutive error count is 3, this makes, you know, 3 times 3, 9 failures. After 9 failures, you send another error that say that the OMCI channel is corrupted. Why don't we only, I mean, send the first error, you know? Why isn't enough?
Yeah. Okay, that could also be, yeah, you're right.
So
Yeah,
when an OLT connection is corrupted or the OLT is unreachable, we'll see both OLT unreachable event or alarm, and also see the OMCI communication corrupted alarm or event. Is that right?
Yeah, because the ONU adapter do not get any information about the outage of the OLT.
But it also depends on the timeout values, isn't it? You know, there is a timeout in OLT adapter for disconnection or heartbeat and detecting the disconnection. But there is also a timeout value in ONU adapter for OMCI messages. And after it gets this timeout for OMCI messages for a while, you know, for a defined count, then it sends the OMCI, you know, communication failure or.
What is the timeout value you are talking about? Is it the gRPC timeout, which is default 2 seconds, or something else?
No, we have also an OMCI timeout,
Okay.
which is configurable in the ONU adapter. It defaults to 3 seconds.
Okay, got it.
And there is a heartbeat timeout value in OLT adapter, I guess, which makes OLT adapters to send unreachable message event to the core.
So
it's 9 seconds as far as I understand from Abilash's comments.
9 seconds are 3 times 3 seconds, including the retries. For the
okay.
OMCI.
Oh, it's on side. Okay, sorry. So in OLT side, it's also configurable, but I don't know the default value.
Default, I think so it's 15 or 30 seconds.
Yeah, probably. So in case of the OLT is unreachable, then we would see lots of OMCI events, OMCI corrupted events, or only one. So if the OLT is full, probably we would see 4,000 ONU OMCI events, which might be lots of events in the upper systems.
Currently, probably more than that, because each OMC messages, each OMC message that is timeouted after a retry count, consecutively, you receive this event. So if it is, you have for an ONU, you requested to say 10 PM counters, 10 OMC messages, you will see 10 events.
So this could be overwhelming. So
yeah,
maybe we can. So ONU adapter sends a message to the OLT adapter, and OLT adapter returns back with an error that the OLT is unreachable. So that ONU adapter knows the OLT is not reachable, and then maybe don't send those OMCI corrupted errors. What do you think?
Yeah, it would be a possibility. Yeah.
In any case, I mean, if it's sent one time, it can stop. I mean, either if OLT adapter send the resource or not, if one first message is timeouted and it sent the event, next time it shouldn't send it.
In which case do you mean? You mean if we recognize that that the OLT is not available, or?
No. When you try to retry the messages and you decided that you cannot send, there is an event you're sending currently, then you can set a flag somewhere and say that the OMCI corrupted event is sent, and for the next message timeout, you don't send this event. You don't rely on the OLT adapter response. You don't need to rely on that,
So in case the OLT is reachable, or in both cases, you mean, Mahir?
In any case,
In any case, you are saying.
Yeah. Then when you send the message, you can clear this flag again.
But then if the OLT is full, then you would see lots of OMCI events, right? For 4,000, for example.
For each ONU, you need to.
For each ONU, yeah.
I think you need to get this event for each ONU, yes.
But it's gonna be overwhelming, I think.
But what is it really a big problem to inform the ONU adapter about the absence of the OLT or something like this, or to come back with an error when we try to send the OPCI message? Then we would not run into this situation.
Couldn't follow. I'm sorry.
Naja, the OpenOU adapter is only sending events, Kafka events, if it assumes that the OMCI request was sent successfully, and after the 3-second time, we do not receive the answer. But when I already know that it's not possible to address this OMCI request, then this process would not come into action.
Yeah, that makes sense. But Mahir says in any case, so I was questioning because of that.
Okay, I think Core has to decide now if the ONU adapter should be informed about this special circumstance that the channel is disturbed and we are not able to send this, and then OpenOU adapter would be able to suppress this sending of the Kafka events and to know about this that is not. There's not a problem of the ONU itself, but of the way to the ONU. I
Yeah,
think
that
this
makes sense for me if everybody's okay.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
and now it has to be decided how the core informs OpenONU adapter, right?
Yes, we should look into that. Maybe we
Okay.
can create a Jira ticket for that.
Okay, then Holger, you will take care of your patch.
That means you want to have it completely removed, right?
Yes. Then I will open a Jira task for sending a response in OLT adapter, error response in OLT adapter if the OLT is unreachable to the OMC messages. Any other action needed?
Just to be clear, now will the OpenOLT adapter send in the error response that the OLT is reachable, or whether core should do it?
No, in OLT adapter, the OMC messages are proxied via OLT adapter. So when an OMC message is sent from the ONU adapter to OLT adapter, if there is no connection between the OLT adapter and OLT, it should respond error to ONU adapter. That's what I understand.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay.
Yeah, sending error to interadapter OMCI messages in OLT adapter.
Okay, but
and yeah, go ahead.
sorry. So it'll have an error code saying the OLT is unreachable, or I didn't get that part.
I don't know if there's currently an error like that. We will check. I mean, if there is an error like that, we can use it. If not, we can introduce an error type like that.
Okay, so then after that, sorry, go ahead.
What we have to do is probably we should put a special error code to the gRPC response, or we should insert a special string, which I don't like, that the OLT is unreachable, so that the ONU adapter knows the OLT is unreachable. So probably a special gRPC error code would be sufficient. I don't know if there's other ways.
So based on that error, ONU adapter will not send the further OMCIs, right?
Yes.
Okay, so now the question would be, how will ONU adapter come to know when it's back up?
Actually, or is it only to suppress the Kafka events and to try again?
Yeah,
to try again, even we had an error.
The PM routine will continue in any way.
Oh, okay. This is just to suppress the Kafka events which are put on the OMS. Yes. Okay.
Then
okay.
on top of it, we need to, Holger, you need to check your code if this piling happens again after we put this OLT response. And if it happens again and there is a problem in system, we need to have some actions in ONU adapter to, avoid having this piling up with this response we got from the OLT adapter. Okay.
Yeah, I think after introduction of these changes, you have to have a look at the scale test where we saw this this panic, right?
Yes, and now we need a volunteer to have this OLT adapter task to send.
Sorry, but even with this solution, right, with the novelty adapter returning an error code, we still would have 4,000 events on the Kafka bus in case the adapter itself restarts. Right? Because if the OLT adapter is not there, it's not able to return the gRPC code, what would the ONU adapter do? It's going to raise the events on the Kafka bus.
I have no idea. I mean, I need to see the state diagram, what happens when an OLT adapter restarts in ONU adapter. I don't know.
Yeah, I think we should, look into the various possibilities, and I don't think we can conclude on anything today itself.
Yeah, at least this primitive decisions that we have taken, we can apply them and go to deep dive and.
Yeah, agree.
Okay, is there anyone can take this OLT adapter task and send error response to ONU adapter? Because we have a code freeze in Friday, so this should be done in this time frame.
Yeah, I'll take that, Abhilash.
Okay, thank you, Abhilash. Then I'll open a task and assign it to you.
Okay. Okay. So I take it we're all done then. It's about 10 after, or almost 10 after. Would anybody like me to go over the failures in the community pods, or do you want to hold that, defer that till next week?
Hello, this is Bartek from Zaitsev. Actually, I have a question to Mahir or maybe to Amit. We are not directly involved in coding, but because we have some open project with generic VOLTHA solution, we also have we also know some issues that we would like to somehow communicate to you, but we are not aware about any procedure for this kind of communication with you guys. Is there any proper way, like just send an email or maybe, I don't know, any other solution you can propose for us, just for the, any kind of request or issues, bugs reporting, this kind of things?
We have VOLTHA Discuss mailing list, and we have Slack channels, different Slack channels, the VOLTHA dev channel, VOLTHA OpenONU Go channel, etc. So you can write either on Slack channel or VOLTHA Discuss mailing list. And if you have, want to reach out us separately, you can send mails to us also if you want. But we have two main channels for discuss this kind of things and give feedbacks and ask questions. Their Slack channel and VOLTHA Discuss mailing list.
Okay, because in the past, sorry.
And
please.
Yeah, they are presented on VOLTHA docs and VOLTHA, wiki page, etc. You can check that, and Slack channels are listed there, and mailing list also listed there. Okay.
Okay. In the past, we speak directly to Andrea Campagna. It was enough, but now I don't know, Mahir, you are the one who is the successor or Amit?
Amit and me are co-chair of the TSD, and on the other hand, Serkan, Holger, and Suhaj are the other members of the TSD. You can reach out us directly with sending emails to us, both or 5 of us, however you like.
or I can use this official communication channel from
Yes.
the website, right?
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you very much for clarification. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, I guess were there any more additions? We can probably break for the day if unless somebody wants to bring something else up. Okay, I guess that's a wrap for this week. Okay, thanks everybody.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
Yep.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.